Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Two of the Day 3 picks for the Dallas Cowboys have drawn rave reviews from ESPN analysts. It is often said that Day 3 of the NFL Draft is the one that belongs to the scouts. Initial draft action involves the highest level of detail from the highest level of authorities because more premium resources are being spent. But as the draft goes on, more and more players go off the board, which makes finding a diamond in the rough more challenging. It is truly a haystack to search for a needle in, which is why the scouts that have been identifying needles and learning about the players 24/7/365 are the ones who are better suited for the job. Time will tell what the Dallas Cowboys discovered on the draft's third day this year, but early indications seem to be strong as they are picking up some kudos regarding two of their selections. Among the Day 3 selections for the Dallas Cowboys were cornerback Kalen Carson and tackle Nathan Thomas. Carson represents depth at corner, a position that was quietly in need of it. It is true that Trayvon Diggs, Darren Bland and Jordan Lewis are the starters, but do you feel any real sense of confidence beyond that? Enter Carson. As far as Thomas is concerned, the Cowboys are also in some need of a swing tackle. Guys like Chuma Edoga and Matt Waletzko are the contenders, but they hardly inspire confidence. ESPN's Field Yates listed Carson and Thomas both among his best picks/top steals in every round. As far as the love for Carson is concerned, it is going to be fascinating to see how Harris is able to get the best out of him. We have seen throughout Harris's time with the Cowboys that he is able to put defensive backs in position to generate takeaways. Any level of disruption seems like something that Harris can build upon. Concerning Thomas, whether or not he plays inside will obviously be interesting to monitor. Upon the moment he was drafted, it seemed like maybe he had a chance to compete for the swing tackle spot down the road, but perhaps that may not wind up being the case. The Cowboys have a handful of linemen with position flexibility, so maybe that is something they want to monitor with Thomas and his future. Either way, it is exciting to know that movement is an option for him. NFL Power Rankings Post-2024 Draft Edition, Lions Rise, Cowboys Fall. The 2024 NFL Draft came and went, and now all that is left is the aftermath of what to make of it all. We'll start with our 2024 NFL Power Rankings Post-Draft Edition, looking at all 32 teams and their whereabouts. Some likely won't surprise you, such as the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, while others, including the Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys, may be in unfamiliar places. Could there be anyone else in the number 1 spot in the NFL Power Rankings, besides the winners of the last 2 Super Bowls? I think not. What's crazy is that the Chiefs may have gotten better. Last year, Patrick Mahomes and his receivers often found themselves not on the same page. To fix that, the team went out and signed Hollywood Brown in free agency, then moved up in the draft to select Texas Longhorn speedster Xavier Worthy, who ran the fastest 40-yard dash time at the NFL Combine. Add on top of that a few additions to the offensive line, and the Chiefs are primed yet again to make it back to the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight season. The Ravens have been one of the best drafting teams over the last decade or so, and they continued that trend in the 2024 NFL Draft. Having cornerback Nate Wiggins out of Clemson just fall into their laps at number 30 was almost unfair. Then adding TJ Tampa in the 4th should only bolster their secondary for next season. This team was likely playoff ready without their draft additions, but giving Lamar Jackson more protection on the line with Roger Rosengarten, who was part of the Joe Moore award-winning offensive line at Washington, is significant. Plus, you have to like the upside of wide receiver Devontae Walker. Let's not forget that Baltimore went out and grabbed Derrick Henry in free agency. It's been a big offseason for the Lions. They signed their popular and productive receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown and talented tackle Penei Sewell to big deals. But as talented as this roster was last year, they had to go out and shore up some needs on the back end of their defense in the 2024 NFL Draft. It seems they did just that. The Lions got 3 new pieces to add to their secondary, starting with first-round pick Terrion Arnold, then the very next round got Ennis Rakestraw Jr., finishing up in the 4th round with safety Sione Vaki. This now makes the Lions one of the best teams talent for talent in the entire league. After last season, they knew they were close, and now they hope they can make the next leap. Cowboys urged to sign ex-Jaguars WR after recent release. The Dallas Cowboys added a few receivers through the NFL draft and undrafted free agency wave, but they could still add a veteran WR. After 2 years with the Jacksonville Jaguars, NFL pass catcher and Dallas native Zay Jones is back on the market. Jones was released this week after the Jaguars drafted Brian Thomas Jr. in the 1st round of this year's draft. For Blogging the Boys writer David Howman, Jones makes a lot of sense as a signing. The Cowboys could definitely use a veteran receiver alongside Lamb and Cooks, at least in case Jalen Tolbert doesn't take another step forward in his development this offseason. Jones represents a veteran presence with proven ability as a third receiving option, and his market could fit into the Cowboys' financial plans, Howman wrote on May 1. It's worth mentioning that Jones is the son of Robert Jones, a former first-round pick by the Cowboys. Robert won 3 Super Bowls with Dallas, while his son Zay is still searching for his first. Dallas could do far worse than Jones, but he's not a game-changing addition. Still, his production in a secondary role with Jacksonville bodes well for a similar spot in Dallas. Jones first entered the NFL in the 2017 NFL Draft as a second-round pick by the Buffalo Bills. While he had a solid 2018 campaign, the majority of his time in Buffalo can be summed up by the fact that he was traded midway through the 2019 season. The Las Vegas Raiders dealt a 5th-round pick for Jones, and it initially looked like a poor move. Through his first 26 games in 2019 and 2020, Jones had just 34 catches for 301 yards and 1 touchdown. But as Pro Football Reference shows, the 29-year-old found his game in 2021. Jones caught 47 passes for 546 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. But despite an uptick in production, Jones was not brought back after his contract ran out the following offseason. The Jaguars picked him up and saw immediate dividends. Jones had his best season yet in 2022, catching 82 passes for 823 yards and 5 touchdowns. Injuries hampered his 2023 season, as Jones only played 9 games and amassed 321 yards and 2 touchdowns on 34 catches. In the actual draft this year, Dallas only added 1 WR, Ryan Flournoy. Flournoy is a prospect out of SC Missouri State, and was taken in the 6th round. While Flournoy is not well known in the football world, but was an important player for the Redhawks. Flournoy totaled 1823 receiving yards and 15 touchdowns in 2 years at SMO. In terms of translating to the NFL, he has ideal size at 6'2" and 200 pounds. But Flournoy is not the only new receiver joining the team, as they also added 2 more in their UDFA class. The Cowboys also signed Cam Johnson from Northwestern and Corey Crooms from Minnesota. Both WRs took similar paths to the NFL, playing the majority of their college career at one school and then transferring late to make their case. Johnson's lateral quickness is his primary tool and is coming off a 54-reception season with 715 yards and 6 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Crooms boasts sure hands, but was not a major factor for Minnesota with 28 receptions for 376 yards in 2023. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Zay Jones? Leave your opinion in the comments.